Hello everyone, this is Professor Maloney, and today I'm creating a video recording to demonstrate how to do Excel Module 1 project. Now, I hope you've been working very diligently on your Word trainings and Word projects because, by the way, today is May the 23rd, and your Word exam is tomorrow, May the 24th. And your Excel exam is then 9 days more than that. So it's, I believe, Thursday, June the 2nd. So obviously, again, the class is ramping up, as I said. So please, this is a very, very, very important project. But all you have to do is do the trainings, right? Remember, you're the one that signed up for a 6-week mini-term class. So you have to do the assignments, and you have to do them more quickly than a lot of you have been doing thus far, because there's just so much happening, so much happening. And anyway, if you view this video or when I show it in class, it'll give you 50% on the Excel Module 1 project for sure. All you have to do is do what I do. Well, I say 50, it'll be between 45 and 55. I try to always do it where it's that kind of percentage, and then you just do it and it'll be perfectly fine. But let me say a couple things. I've mentioned this in the past with the Word project, so I'll start right in with it. Projects are more difficult than trainings, you know that. So the key is to do the trainings first, right? So this is the Module 1 project, so do the Module 1 training at least one time first. Preferably do it 2 times first. Then do this project, the Module 1 project. Then go on to Module 2, do the trainings at least once or twice. Then do the Module 2 project. Then do the Module 3 training once or twice at least. And then the Module 3 project. Then do the Module 4 training once or twice. And then but then go back. Go back. As I say, you should do these things 3, 4, 5, or 6 times each, right? So then after you do all that, go back and do the trainings at least 1 or 2 more times. And also try to do the practice exams, because the practice exams are exactly the training. So in effect, you're doing the training again if you do the practice exams. But again, I use the word but the good thing with the practice exams is they're set up with no practice mode, no observed mode, and you get 2 tries. So it's like an exam, but a practice exam where the score doesn't count, right? All right. And by the way, in the next, well, for sure within the next few days, I'm going to be creating my first of 2 access video recordings for you guys. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and hop to it over here. I'm going to stop sharing or showing me and go on over here and share my screen. And then we'll go over to MindTap. All right, hide that. Go in here and go over to students. Start here. All right. I'll take a minute or so here. I don't want to spend too much time, but a minute or two, sorry, here, just reminding you where we're at. So again, today is Monday, May 23rd. Your Word exam, though, is tomorrow, Tuesday, May 24th. I won't be playing this video in class tomorrow. I'll be playing the the Excel training video demonstration video that I created. I think I said it was about 61 minutes or so. So I'll be playing that before your Word exam in class on May 24th, all right? And then this project video for Excel that I'm doing right now, I'll be showing in class on, let's see, Thursday will be the 25th, okay? And then next Tuesday, I'll be playing an access video, and then next Thursday is the Excel exam. So it's all going. It's all going. Anyway, so let's get this started. So the Word trainings, I'll just show Module 3, but they're all due May 23rd, meaning, May 23rd at 11:59 p.m. So you're not going to see this video until after that date, but you know that these dates are here, right? So now let's collapse all and then go to Excel. Excel, officially, you've had the ability to be working on Excel for over a week now. It was well, about a week. It was last Thursday, which was about the 18th. And only 3 people have done the first Excel training. 1 person had done the first project, and I'm not going to go through the rest. There's no reason to. All right, but you see the exam is June 2nd, and note that with Access, you're going to see that next Thursday, May 26th, it is going to unlock. Right? So that's basic about what I'm going to be showing this video in class. Anyway, all right, so collapse all that. So I'm going to go into Excel, okay, Module 1 and Module 1 project. All right, so as always, you get 3 tries for each of the project submission, so you can submit it 3 times, right? So I'm going to hit my start, and if you haven't seen this, sorry, that means you missed the time I demonstrated this for Word in class, the Word Module 1 project that I demonstrated in class, and you also didn't play the video, which is in the course videos by Professor Maloney folder in our class in Blackboard. But anyway, so I'm going to download the instructions, and I'm going to download the start file. Okay, so now those things are downloaded on my computer. So if I just right click up here and say show in folder, okay, and here they are. So the instructions and the Excel file. All right, so I'm going to open up the Excel file. This is the start file. In other words, this is what we're going to be building off. We're starting with this, and then we're going to be doing whatever the instructions tell us to do, and going from there. What's going on here? Don't know. Let's open up. All right, so you need to enable editing, especially on this one, because this is the file you're going to be changing. All right, so I'm going to say enable editing. All right, and I'm going to save this to end in a 2. You can ignore this last one. This is just because I download these files 3, 4, 5 times over the course of a year, and I try to remember to delete them all from term to term. But anyway, yours is going to be the same name as mine, except it'll of course be your name. So it'll be SC_EX19_1A_ your first name, your last name, based on how you're registered at MindTap, but also how you're registered at Miami-Dade College. Okay, and then _1, but we're going to save it as an _2. So let me save it now. So I'm going to say File, Save As. Okay, I'm going to go into, now again, it doesn't matter where you put it. You can put it anywhere. You can work from your downloads if you want to, but I always like to go into, because I'm the instructor, obviously, I want to make sure I have documentation of what I do. So I'm putting it in my summer 2022 Homestead classes video location, video storage location. Okay, so I'm going to erase over to this 1. Now this 1 we erase, so backspace over, and you type it as a 2. Okay, you do not type .xlsx. And again, I'm going to open the instructions in a minute, and I'll show you where it tells you do not do that. But you need to have Excel on your computer to do projects, just like you needed to have Word. So you need to have Office, in other words, on your computer. You can't do this with, with the Mac version of Excel. You can't do it with the little Google the Google Office version in Google Docs either for Excel. You need to use Office, meaning MS Office, Microsoft Office, and you should be using Office 365 Pro Plus. I showed you where to get that. If you don't remember, you can watch my second video for this class, which was the MindTap overview, and I may have also put it in the first video for this class, which was the class overview. Okay, but if you don't have that software, let's say you have an older version of Excel, well, then you're not going to be able to get 100 on it. That's all that means. You might be able to get a 50, a 60, a 70, an 80, maybe even a 90, depending on how old your version of Excel is. But you want to get the best score, you do what you're told to do, which I've said enough times, so I won't repeat it here. All right, so I'm saving this file with the expected file name, which now ends in the number 2. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to go back to my documents, downloads, and the instructions file I want to open. This one you don't officially have to enable the content, but I'm going to do it anyway because sometimes I put little marks when I do something, like maybe put it in red color or whatever to show that it's done. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and, boy, this is really weird today, my computer that is. But I'm going to enable the content, okay? And I'm just going to bang this thing over here, just going to click it like this and bang it to the left, okay? And then pull this down. I don't know why it didn't do that, but anyway, I'll do that, okay? About like that. And then my Excel file, I'm going to do the same thing, get that smaller, and then bang this to the right, okay? All right, so you can do it the way you want to do it, but if you have them side by side, it's a little bit easier normally to do what you're going to be doing, because that way you get to scroll down the instructions. The instructions are on the left, obviously, and on the right is the worksheet that you're working on. All right, okay, so now I start. So open the file sc_ex19_1a_ first last name _1.xlsx. Remember, it already has the XLSX, and this is the file I got from right here. Okay, this SC, this one. So you download that file. That's the one that we're working with. All right, and then I change it to a number 2. So your second step is open that file and then save it as a number 2. But remember where it says here, if you do not see the XLSX file extension, do not type it. Do not. Because if you did, then the application Excel is going to give you a .xlsx automatically. So if you type a .xlsx, then you have 2 of them, which means the file name would not be uploadable to MindTap because it'd be an invalid file name. Okay, so just follow the instructions. Okay, now it says with the file open, remember this is the one that I'm now using, which I renamed to end in a number 2. It's asking me to verify, does my name display in cell B6 on the documentation sheet? Okay, so if you look at this file on the right, there's a documentation worksheet and a budget summary worksheet. So in the documentation sheet, which is the one showing in cell B6, here's column B, here is row 6. So where B meets 6, it's got John Maloney. Yours will have your name. Again, as I said with Word, I would never, ever accuse anyone of cheating. I'm certain none of you will cheat, but I still like to remind my classes because it is possible. Usually there might be 1, perhaps 2 students that feel it's easier to just get it from a friend. Well, you can't get it from a friend. I showed you how this would work in the case of Word. So for today, I'll type John Velasco. All right, so now pretend there's somebody in this class named John Velasco. Let's say Juan Velasco. All right, so Juan Velasco. Now, Juan and John Maloney know each other very, very well. Juan actually lives on my street. I've known him since he was a kid. And that's probably why he's taking my class. And again, I'm just joking, right? But anyway, so if Juan Velasco's name appears on this sheet, this Excel worksheet called documentation, and I then upload this file, he uploads this file to MindTap, the expected file name would be correct as long as he makes sure that that either I or he spelled his name correctly, and we uploaded it. But Juan Velasco has a student ID at Miami-Dade College, and John Maloney, the professor, has an employee ID. Our ID number must correspond to the words we see here. In other words, when I'm on as John Maloney, that's just looking at the name, but the actual thing they're looking for is an embedded key. That embedded encryption key is what it's called, is my employee ID. And my employee ID, the formatting is such that it'll say if the name John Maloney does not equal, and then the computer is searching for my ID, and it's got to, they both have to line up, right? So in other words, you can't cheat, okay? I promise you, you can't cheat, and I know nobody would. So just remember that, nobody would cheat. All right, John Maloney. Now, hit the save button. So anyway, make sure that your name is over here in that cell that I just said. If not, it says download it again. But it will. As long as you're registered to the MindTap site, it'll be there. Okay, so now here's the project steps. Okay, first thing I want to do is see how many steps there are. All right, so there's 12 steps. So I have to do about 6 of them to get a 50%. But technically 6 might not give me quite 50%, because usually the first 4 or 5 or 6 might be worth, let's say 6 or 7 points, and then the next 5 or 6 might be worth 7 or 8 points. They're normally only 1 point off, but if I do 60, for sure it's going to be a bare minimum 45% as long as I get everything right. So I'll definitely do 6 out of the 12, okay? And I might even do number 7 just to add one more, I'm not sure, but I want to just get between 45 and 55%. To let you know how, relatively easy it is. Now, obviously, yes, I know this stuff a little bit more than you, but bottom line is you have to do the trainings first. So remember that. All right. Okay. So getting started is done. Now, project steps. Josh Bartell is the Senior Director of the Pennsylvania Field Office for New Era Medical. New Era Medical, a global company that manufactures medical equipment. He has created a worksheet, that means an Excel worksheet, summarizing the revenue and expenses for the first 3 quarters of the year. He asks for your help in determining what the Pennsylvania office needs to do to meet its targeted profit goals in the 4th quarter. Go to the budget summary worksheet, okay? This is not the budget summary worksheet. They only wanted us to go here to verify that our name is there. Here's the budget summary worksheet. And it's already got some stuff on it. So they've done some things for us, obviously. We're going to be putting in a formula up here in G4. We'll be putting in a formula here in B7, another in C7, another in D7, another in E7. We'll be putting formulas down here from E10 to E14. We'll be putting in formulas from G10 to G14, and then we'll be putting in formulas down here, and we'll be putting in formulas down here, plus whatever else they ask us to do for formatting. All right, so that's what we have to do. All right, let's see. Josh Bartell's, okay, so we said that. Now, so the first step is saying go to the budget summary worksheet, which we're on, and then cut the worksheet title from cell I1 and paste it in cell A1 to display the title in its expected location. So it might look to you like that says 11, but that's a capital I. Let me scoot over a little bit here with my scroll bar. So here is I, and here is 1. So here's where I meets 1. And if you hover in the name box, it'll say I1. Again, it may look like 11 or some weird thing, but that's the letter I and the number 1. So they just want us to cut this. So I'm going to say Control X. All right. Now I'm getting what they call this rolling marquee. But Control X means cut. But you can also just use the scissors for cut, and you can use the paste for paste, right? But I'll say Control X. I'll say it again, Control X. Come over now to A1. So I'm going to move my scroll bar back over, and here's A1, and I'll say Control V like Victor. Okay, done. So I'm going to hit my save over here. Oh, I haven't shown you yet. So remember, I also, in the case of Word, I showed you at the end of every project that you do, if you scroll down, they'll show you a picture of what the expected, file that you're working on should look like. So I'm going to make this a little bigger just to, so that you can kind of see what we're looking for. And for now, that's probably enough. But you notice how New Era Medical is over here on the top left, and you can see it's in cell A and then 1. So A1, which is right now where mine is. Here's A1. Now I'm on the right side. So that's done. Okay. Now here you can see there's no blank cells. There's nothing that doesn't, actually this one down here, I assume they didn't have us do this, whatever that is, G15. Okay. But anyway, you do and you check. But one thing I want to point out right away is if you're looking at the answer sheet, and this basically on the left is the answer sheet. But if you type a -1088 comma 600 and just enter that, you will get 0 points. I mean, you wouldn't get 1 point for that because everything here that we're going to be doing is formulas. I mean, other than formatting, right? So we're going to do a formatting. We're going to do a formula when we, I'm going to be on the right side now. Okay. So over here in cell G5, that will be a formula. If I just type 1088,600, negative 1088,600, that's 0 points. If I come over here in B7 and I look at the picture and say, oh, it's 12.5%, I type it in, no, that would be 0. You wouldn't get 1 point. So you have to do formulas for everything here, everything here, and everything here, oops, here, and everything here, and then do the formatting as well, including putting in a chart. All right, okay. So I'm going to make the picture a little smaller again, but you see that I did move what we said, new era medical. Okay, all right. So go back up. So I've done one. There's only one step to it. All right. So now in the second thing says in cell E2, add the text number off. So in cell E2, add the text so that the complete text appears as number of sales people. Okay. So, and this is in cell G2, right over here, G2. So number of salespeople. So here is G, and here, wait a minute, G, what am I talking about? Where am I? Yeah. Oh, and E2, sorry, E2 right here. Okay. So what they're saying is they want this to be more clear as to what this number over here means, right? But I click on salespeople, and then up in the formula bar it says salespeople, but it needs to say number of, and they put double quotes around it. You don't put the double quotes. You also don't put salespeople, and you don't put colon because it's already there. So you click in the cell, then you come up to the formula bar and type number of with a capital N, a small off, and salespeople is also small based on, where am I? Based on right here, number of salespeople and salespeople small. Enter now. So now you see number of salespeople small, make it big. Make it save. Go down to the picture again, and number of salespeople is right here, but let's make it bigger again. Number of salespeople, done. Okay. All right. Make that smaller. Okay. So now that was number 2. So I've done 2, and I hit the save for both. All right. Number 3, enter Q2 in cell C4 and Q3 in cell D4. Okay. So over here in C4 and over here in D4, you see we already have Q1. They want this to say Q2, and they want this to say Q3. So C4, type Q2. Spell it right and use a capital Q, Q2. And then the next one, type Q3 with a capital Q. So obviously, if you look at it now, it's Q1, Q2, Q3, and year to date. Again, go down, make it big. Q1, Q2, Q3, year to date, target, whatever else. Okay, so hit the save. Make it go back small and go back up. All right, so that's 1, 2, and 3. Now, of course, none of those things are much of anything, right? It was just a little formatting and a cut and paste and adding 2 words, so nothing at all. All right, so now I've done 1, I've done 2, I've done 3. I assume they're all right. Now, number 4, in cell G5, okay, so G5, enter a formula without a function that subtracts the target revenue, which is in cell F5, from the year-to-date revenue, which is E5, to determine how much revenue the field office needs to earn in Q4 to reach its target for the year. Okay, so remember I did an Excel overview video, and I played the Excel overview video in class in the past week, probably last let's see probably last Thursday, the 18th or so. But that doesn't matter. But the point that does matter is if you didn't watch that video, let me go over here again and see where that is. Oh, wait, not there. I want MindTap. I now want here. Okay, course videos created by Professor Maloney. Okay, so in here, if you did not see this video here, okay, Excel overview video, this one. See, I played it in class on day 4 of 12, which was Thursday of week 2. All right, so this thing here covers a lot of what this project requires. So watch this video and skip around, you know, for things you don't need, but at least you should be watching it because it's very, very, very important. All right. Okay. So here's that again, and here's my Word document again. So I said 1, I did 2, I did 3. Now they want me to enter a formula, but without a function. Okay. All right. And it's in cell G5. So here is G. Here is 5. So I'm going to do a formula without a function. That means you don't type sum. You don't type any word. It's just the equal sign, and then you type the cell addresses, or you point and click at the cell addresses. Okay. All right. So let's see again what they're wanting us to do. They want us to subtract the target revenue from year to date. So in other words, they wanted to say equal E5 minus F5. So equal E5 is this one. Okay. So I'm going to point and click equal E5. The minus sign is the dash. So just put a dash and then minus F5. So I'll point and click at F5. But alternatively, you can just type what you see up here. Equal E5 minus F5. Okay. And enter. All right. So now it shows a negative 1,088,600. Go to the bottom. Make it big. 1,088,600 is in G5. Here's G on the right, G5, 1,088,600. Now remember what I said? If you type a number, right? So let's click in here, 1,088,600. If you type that as a negative, then the answer would be right, but it would be wrong because you didn't type a formula, which you see up here in the formula bar. You must always do what I tell you to do, okay? And that means doing a formula. All right, so just verified that it's correct. So now I'm going to go back again. Oops. Okay, go back up. So I did now, in number 4's case, I did that. All right, and the 1,088,600 is the correct answer, but the formula is equal E6 minus F6. All right, okay, now next one is number 5. So Josh wants to calculate the gross margin for years, for quarters 1 through 3 and year to date. Provide this information as follows. So this is just telling us what they want. And then 5A, and by the way, 5A is the first, or 5 is the first one where we actually have 2 steps. Then 6 has 2 steps, 7 has 1, 8 has 2, 9 has 2, 10 has 2, 11 has 4, and 12 has 1. So there's not a whole lot of steps really in this. Okay. Remember in Word, there were more, well, there are quite a few steps, but it doesn't matter. You just do what you have to do. All right, so I'm on 5A. In cell B7, enter a formula without a function. Same thing. No function. That means I'm not going to type equal sum, not going to type equal count, equal average, equal if, equal min, equal max, anything with it, you know, with letters or words. Like here, you see it says the sum function. I'm now down here. That means we're going to be doing a function, okay? But when it says without a function, you don't type something like sum, all right? Okay, so they want me to divide. So in cell B7, so here's B over here, and here's 7. So that's B7 right there. In this cell, they want me to type a formula without a function that divides the gross profit, which is B6, cell B6, by the revenue in B5. So it's going to be equal B6 / B5. All right. So equal, type an equal sign. Where's my darn equal sign? Equal. And then which? 5. Where am I? Using this. Oh wait, I'm in this one. To find that. No. Oh, divides right here, 5A, sorry. Okay, so I said it's gross profit divided by revenue. So B6 divided by B5. So equal, I'll click on B6. do a /, that means divide, and then click on B5. Or alternatively, you could just type it that way, okay? And enter. When you enter, you get an answer, but remember, if you type 12.5%, then up here it's going to say 12.5%, and that would be 0. You have to have that formula, okay? You have to have the formula, all right? So 12.5%, and now they want us to then fill the range C7, which is this one, through E7. So this one, and this one, they want to use the fill handle, and I demonstrated this in the Excel, the Excel overview video, and of course it was also in part of 1 or 2 of the tasks in the Excel training video, all right? But anyway, for now, all I have to do is go to this one, which is B7, which is what it's asking me to do, okay? So they want me to take the formula in B7 and then copy it over with the fill handle so that it's also going to be in C7, D7, and E7. Watch. Right? So fill handle, remember, is the bottom right little green square. See that little green square right above the top little portion of this white hollow cursor or plus sign. So you hop on top of the green thing, and now you get a thin black plus sign. Click it and drag to the right once. That will put that formula in this cell, and now again it'll put that formula, the result in this one, and then over here as well. Okay, so all of them are now done. Okay, but remember, if you type 12.5%, you won't have a formula up here. If you type 12.9%, you won't have a formula up there. And if you type 12.0%, you wouldn't have a formula, and they'd all be wrong. Again, go to the bottom just to see if we got them right. Make it bigger. So, so B was 12.5, and then the next one is 12.9, the next one's 12.0, the next one's 12.5. So 12.9, 12.0, 12.5. Okay, but they're right, but with formulas, not being right by just typing. Okay. All right. So I've done 5A, and now I've done 5B. All right. Hit my save button. So they all look right so far. And by the way, up here you can see now everything is filled in. Okay. This one here, actually over here in G7 looks kind of weird. It's 0%, E7 minus F7. So equal E7 minus F7. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if that's really what they want, but I didn't touch that. So that must have been there. But I'm going to go back just to look again. Yeah, it's showing as 0%. Oops, make it smaller. Right here, 0%. Okay, but again, all we have to do is do everything they ask and then verify whether it's right or not. All right. Okay. So 5AB is done. Now, Josh needs to sum. This is number 6. Josh needs to sum the sales for each Pennsylvania region for the year to date. Provide this information as follows. So in cell E10, well, here is column E. Here is row 10. Okay, so E and 10. So right here, they want me to enter a formula that uses the sum function. So the sum function means I'm going to type it as equal sum and then an open parenthesis. When you use a function, it has to have an open parenthesis, then the cell addresses and whatever you're doing in, for the formula, and then you close the open parenthesis with a closed parenthesis. Okay, so I had to do it here in E10. So now let's read what it tells us. So in cell E10, this is 6A. Enter a formula using the sum function to total the regional sales for the Northeast region, the range of B10 to D10 to calculate the year-to-date sales. That's very easy. All right. So we're going to go down here to E10, which it's going to be here. Okay. And then we're going to take the sum of B10, C10, and D10, and the answer is going to come over here. All right. So equal sum. Now, oops. One thing that I mentioned also in my Excel overview video and in my Excel training demonstration video, the one thing that Excel does not mind if you doing or not doing is you'll notice every function is displayed with caps. Every one of these has capital letters for every letter in every word. Okay, oops. Okay, but you can type them like I typed it in small. I said equal SUM in lowercase. All right, so it's up to you, but you do not need to make the functions. Same with the cell address, by the way. Cell addresses are always going to display as capital, like capital E, capital B, capital C, but that's after you do a formula. But if you type them, you can type them in small. And I'm going to show you that here as well. All right. So equal sum, open parenthesis, go back to the instructions. And this is now, I'm in cell E10. So E10, enter this formula. So equal sum, open parenthesis, and I want the range B10 to D10. So I'm going to click on B10, which is this one. Okay. So now that is up over here. It's equal sum, open parenthesis, B10. And if I drag to the right, now it's through C10. And one more time, now it's through D10. Okay. And then I close the parenthesis. So now the formula is equal sum, open parenthesis, B10 colon D10. And the colon means through. So in other words, it's from B10 through D10, which means B10, C10, and D10. So if I enter that, the answer is 696, 687. But again, if you type it, 696, 687, that will give you a 0. You need this formula in the formula bar. Okay? All right. And you also might have noticed that when this formula was entered, right immediately down here, a total took the number because this already has a formula. So in cell E14, it says equal sum E10 through E13. Just like this one here went from here through there, this one here is going from, this one here is going from here to here. So this is a vertical formula. This one up here is a horizontal formula. And these will be horizontal formulas when we do this part here. All right. Okay. So anyway, let's verify if 696, 687 is down below. Remember, it's always nice to do this. So 696, 687, right there. Okay. It is there. Now you might say, yeah, but it's not in E14. No, because now E14 has these other numbers. So it's going to keep adding up, but it started with 696, 687. All right. But all you got to remember anyway is do the formula. Do not cheat and type numbers. You have to actually do the formula or you get zeros. You will get a 0. If you type every number out, every darn formula, I mean, not formula, but every answer out, like just typing in the number that you see in this picture, you'll get exactly a 0. All right, so don't do that. All right, anyway, so that was that one. Let's make it a little smaller again. Go back up. So that was 6A. Okay, now it's saying for 6B, use the fill handle, okay, to fill the range E11 through E13. So here's E, here's 10. They want me to basically start in 10 and then use the fill handle to put in the answer for E11, E12, and E13. All right, so I click here, all right, take the fill handle, scroll down, and release, and see now this number down below, which was 696, 687, is now though 696, 687 plus 1,099, 642 plus 311, 178 plus 1,003, 893, and now the answer is all this. Okay, hit the save button and let's go check it out though. Okay, and that was from this one. Use the fill handle to fill the range E11 to E13. E11 to E13 with the formula in E10. So remember, I went to E10 first. That's E10. And then take the fill handle and just drag it down, okay, to 13. All right. And then again, you go down below and you just check, always check your work. Make it big. And it's 311, 400 at the end, 1,003, 893 for the second last one, 311, 178, 311, 178. 1,099, 642, and 696, 687. All right, that Make it small. Now, I think I've already done enough. Let me see where we're at. All right, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to verify what I did here as a recap before I end it. But let's see again, make sure 6, and then it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This won't quite get you, I think I'll be giving you 47, 48, or 49 points, maybe 46, 47, 48, 49 points. But bottom line is, then you just continue. So your job is then, the next one you would have to do is in cell F10. Well, where's F10? Well, gee whiz, here's column F, here's row 10. So here's F10. You're doing something right here. And it's not even a formula. In this case, actually, you could type the number, enter the value to provide the targeted annual sales amount for the Northeast region. So here you actually do just type 925,000. And you're going to get 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever number of points it's worth just by typing one number. Wow, impressive. All right, anyway, so what do I do? Now I said I want to recap it, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you the rest of the steps, which are obviously to upload the file and get a grade. All right, okay, so let's go to number 1. So did I cut the worksheet title from G11, sorry, from I11 and put it in A1? Yes, I did. If I look over here, okay, there's nothing over here in I1 anymore. There used to be, but I cut it and I put it in A1. So it looks like I got A1, number 1 right, okay? Number 2, it said add the text number off, what's in bold is what they want, so that the complete text appears as number of salespeople in cell E2. So there's E2. So here is column E. Here is row 2. So here's where E meets 2, and it says number of salespeople. Okay. Remember, yeah, it extends over into F2, but you look in the formula bar for E2. Remember, this is the name box. And it says in that name box, number of salespeople, which is what they want it to do. All right. Okay. Number 3, enter quarter 2 in C4 and quarter 3 in D4. So enter quarter 2 in C4. So here's column C, here's row 4, so here's C4, and I typed quarter 2. Make sure I typed it correct. If you see up here in the formula bar that single quote mark, do not delete that. When you type text, it's automatically going to put the single quote, which signifies that it's text and not a number. So you leave that. Okay. And then in D4, it says quarter 3, same way, just like it says in the instructions for number 3. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. Number 4. In cell G5, enter a formula without a function. Remember I said without a function means you're not using anything other than the equal sign and the cell addresses and whatever, addition or subtraction or division or subtraction or multiplication, whatever you're using. Okay. So anyway, for number 4, in cell G5, enter a formula without a function, and then what? That subtracts the target revenue, which is F5, from the year-to-date revenue, E5. So basically, it's just going to be equal E5 minus F5. All right. So in G5, it's going to be equal E5 minus F5. So where am I? G5. Here's G. Here's 5. Here's G5. And the formula equal E5 minus F5. Looks right. And again, it's not using a sum. It's not using a function, which is what they want. All right. Number 5. Josh wants to calculate the gross margin for quarters 1 through 3 and the year to date. Provide this information as follows. So 5A, in cell B7, so let's click on B7 right away. Here's B column, and here's row 7. So here's where B meets 7, and you can again hover over the name box to verify where you are. Yeah, you're in B7. Okay, and they wanted a formula without a function. So look at the formula I already did. It's equal B6 / B5. That's without a function, but you're dividing. Okay, so what it means is equal B6 divide by B5. So you're taking this number and dividing it by this number, and what this is the answer, the result, 12.5%. But remember, we didn't type the 12.5%. We have a formula. All right. Okay, done. So that was 5A. Then in the next one, 5B, it said fill the range C7 to E7 with the formula in B7. So in other words, you go to B7. So here again is B. Here again is 7. So you click B7, and then you take the fill handle, click it, and drag to the right through E7. And when you let go, those values change. Mine didn't change because obviously I'd already done this, but you know, the formula is equal B6 divided by B5, but over here it'll change to equal C6 divided by C5, and over here it'll change to equal D6 divided by D5, and over here it'll change to equal E6 to E5. It's because it's called a relational operator, okay? It just means basically that when you copy this with the fill handle, it knows we're doing something up and down here, meaning on the column, the cells just above it. So B5 and B6 we want in this one, okay? But over here, B5 and B6 wouldn't make sense. So when you copy the fill handle, it assumes you're also going to copy the formula, the cell addresses above that cell instead of going back over here, okay? And then for this one, it's going to assume we want these cells. And for this one, it would assume we want these cells, okay? All right, hit the save again. So that one was 5A, and then that was 5B. All right, number 6. And this is the last one I did. 6, there's 2, 6A, 6B. So in 6A, that says in cell E10. So here is E, here is 10. So I go to E10, okay? And again, you see the number 696, 687, but that's not the formula. So you don't type that. You in the formula bar, you're going to be typing, or you can of course just type, actually you just type it right there, but it's going to show up in the formula bar. All right. So anyway, and what formula did they want in 6A? So in cell E10, which is where I am, E10, enter formula, but this one says uses the sum function. So you see what I typed? Equal sum. So that's a function, equal sum. And then if you use a function, you always need to start the formula with an open parenthesis. So it's equal sum, open parenthesis, which is right there, okay, open parenthesis. Then the cell address, B10 through D10, which is what they told us over here. We're looking at this, okay, B10 through D10. And then we close the parenthesis that we opened with a closing parenthesis right there, okay? And then we just enter it, right? So that was that. That was 6A. And then it said use the fill handle to fill the range E11 through E13 with the formula in E10. So here we go to E10, take the fill handle, click it, and drag down through E13, and then those values change, okay? So hopefully I got 100 on what I did, but obviously I didn't do that much, right? I did 6 steps out of 12. So it's going to be a few points less than 50. All right. Okay. Now you got to close it. Remember, always close it. So close it and know where it goes. The instructions, I'm going to go ahead and close, but I don't really need to. If I want, I can leave it open. But the bottom line is that what will happen is when I get my report, which I'm going to, of course, get literally within 2 minutes, then the report tells us what we did right, what we did wrong, but it doesn't tell us how to fix anything. We have to fix it by going through the trainings again if need be, right? Googling things, etc. Okay, anyway, so now I want to go back over to MindTap now. So remember, here we are. So we did one where it says download files. We did this, right? We downloaded the instruction file. We downloaded the start file. Okay, so they're done. Then we did the work on our computer. So your computer needs to have Excel. And ideally, it needs to have 365 Pro Plus. If you don't get a 100, you don't say, Professor, I did everything right. I'll say, no, if you did everything right, you'd get a 100, okay? So if you got an 82, you did 2 things wrong, most likely, maybe 3 things wrong. So if you want to do it again, you're welcome to. Oh, and one thing I didn't say in this video yet, but I said it when I did the Word one is, remember, I do not help you on projects. Okay, projects are considered independent assignments. They're the most really important thing you're doing in this class in terms of doing something by yourself. Because when you're doing training, you can ask me for help on any one of those. For Excel, there's 130 something tasks. For Word, there's 120 something tasks. For Windows 10, there was 21 tasks. I'll help you on any task, as long as you, of course, ask it of me during class or during the office hour session, okay? And then for projects, though, the projects are based on what you did in the trainings. You have to do them by yourself. Technically, you are allowed to go over here. Let me go over to MindTap, to Blackboard again, and click on the library tab. Actually, we have a tutoring tab right here. So you can click on the tutoring tab, okay? And then you say you want in-person tutoring. Well, what's it? Oh, sorry, click Homestead first. So click Homestead. And then here's the tutoring we provide. You want NTech, which is CGS tutoring, and you click that, okay? And just follow what they tell you to do, all right? All right, so that's that. Get out of there. Okay, so anyway, now back over here in MindTap. So I did that. I did my work. Now I want to get the file that I need to upload, okay? So I'm going to go back to MDC, go back to my Homestead classes for summer 2022, and always verify your date. So here's what I'm looking for, an Excel file. Excel has that X there, and if you hover, it says Microsoft Excel Workbook. And on my computer, on the bottom right, if I hover here, you see it says Monday, May 23, 2022, and it's 12:03 p.m. Well, when did I save this file? So 11:59 a.m. So 4 minutes ago. Well, obviously that's the right file then, right? So click this file and then say open. Now, when you do that, there's two things that are happening. One, it tells you this is the expected file name. This is what Excel or what MindTap expects. Okay. And when you clicked here, or if you just dragged and dropped it there, this is the one that's called saved by you. So this one here has to match letter by letter and number and underscore. Everything's got to be the same. So SC underscore, SC underscore, EX19, EX19, underscore 1A, underscore 1A, underscore, first, last, John Maloney, John Maloney, underscore 2. And then the .xlsx shows up, but remember, you don't type that. It shows up automatically. Then you click submit. Once you click submit, it says, yay, it's already graded. I want to see it. I want to see it. Right? So you click your graded summary. Excuse me. Now I want to open the file. It's already here. Okay. So open the file. And then you hopefully did well. Of course, even if you did well, you're going to get an F on this because, you know, if you did what I did, that is, because you're not, you know, you haven't done that much yet. I'll say enable. All right. Now here's our little file. Let's see what I got. Oh, I only got a 48. All right. So yeah, it was a little bit less than 50. I thought it would be because, like I said, there were 12 tasks. So the fact that I only did 6 of 12 means I'd get 50. But they start, okay, it's an 8, not a 6 or 7. So they're 8, 8, 8. And then they go to still 8. And then they go up to 9. So because more are worth 9 than 8, then obviously, since I did half, but the ones I did were 8, that means I got 48 points. So there's 52 points remaining. But all you got to do is start at the top. When you submit something, you get to submit it 3 times. If I get out of that right there, let me just click over here. Okay, you see here though, it says 2 of 3 submissions remaining now. Over on the left side, when we downloaded the file, it said 3 of 3 submissions remaining because we hadn't uploaded one yet. So now I've submitted 1, so I could still do this 2 times if I want to, but you know, I'm not going to. Anyway, so what was I opening? Yeah, I want to open your report, okay? So you check. Number 1, you got 8 out of 8, so you don't need to do it again. Number 2, you got 8 out of 8. You don't need to do it again. Number 3, you got 8 out of 8. You don't need to do it again. Number 4, you got 8 out of 8. Don't need to do it again. Number 5, You got 8 out of 8. You don't need to do it again. And that one had 2 steps. Number 6 also has 2 steps. You got 8 out of 8. Don't need to do it again. Now, down starting at number 7, I didn't do these. I told you on number 7, all you got to do is type the number 925,000 in cell F10, and then you would have gotten 8 more points. So 48 and 8, we would have got 56 points had I just done that. Okay. Then number 8, there's 2 steps. You're just creating a little formula again. Okay. And then you're copying a formula into a range. So you're just doing the rest of the steps, which are all based on your trainings. And although I didn't do a chart here, remember in the Excel overview video, I did demonstrate how to do a chart. And in my Excel 32 task training demonstration video, I don't remember if there was a chart in it or not. I'm assuming there probably was, because that's a lot of steps so there's probably was a chart. But anyway, I did do a chart in my Excel overview, and obviously it was in your training as well. So you just do what you got to do, and good luck. All right. I hope you have a great day. Oh, and again, remember, then as long as you know where you have your file, right? Even if you left it in downloads, make sure you do it again, and try to do it again relatively soon. And that way, while it's fresh in your mind, so to speak. Okay. And I would say if you get less than an 80, you probably want to for sure do it again. If you get an 80, 81, 82, I would say you want to do it again, but depending on your goal for the class. If you want to make a B in the class, an 80, 81, 82 is fine. But try to do the best you can. But at the same time, the most important thing for you to be doing is the training, because the training helps you on the projects, but it also helps you on the tests, right? So you need to make sure that you're doing all the work that you have to do. All right, I'm going to shut my report down, and I don't need to save any whatever to it. It's no big deal, and it's all done. All right, so I'm going to go over here now and stop the recording. Have a great day, guys. I shall see you on Tuesday, May 24th, which is when you have your word exam. And by the time you see this video, you'll have had your word exam. So I'll say congratulations to all of you that did a great job on your word exam. Way to go. Bye-bye.